A whole new generation of iPhones is about to arrive. The iPhone 17 lineup is here, and as usual, Apple has managed to create excitement, confusion, and arguments all at once. If you've been waiting to upgrade, or if you're just curious about what Apple has cooked up this year, there's a lot to unpack. This time, the lineup looks a little different. Apple has decided to skip the Plus model completely. Instead, we're getting 4 versions: the regular iPhone 17, the iPhone 17 Pro, the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and the newcomer in the family, the iPhone 17 Air. Each of them is designed to target a different kind of customer. Each of them comes with its own set of strengths and weaknesses. And each of them has sparked debate long before the first units even land in people's hands. All 4 phones will launch with Apple's iOS 26, a version that brings with it the controversial liquid glass interface. Some love it, some think it's a gimmick, but either way, it's part of the experience. Apple Intelligence is still nowhere to be seen, despite earlier promises, which leaves many wondering how long Apple will keep delaying its AI strategy. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. The real story this year lies in the hardware. The iPhone 17 Air, thinner, lighter, but at what cost? Let's start with the phone that has raised the most eyebrows, the iPhone 17 Air. This is Apple's latest attempt at reinventing what a slim smartphone can be. At just 5.5 mm thick, it is officially the thinnest iPhone ever made, and one of the slimmest smartphones on the market. When you first hold it, the size is striking. It feels impossibly light, almost futuristic, with its 6.66-inch display stretching nearly edge to edge. The design is bold. The phone feels sleek. Apple wants you to think of elegance. But here's the problem. That ultra-thin body doesn't leave much room for one of the most important parts of a modern smartphone, the battery. Reports suggest the iPhone 17 Air may not even make it through a full day on a single charge. Apple knows this. Apple accepts this. And rather than fixing it with better engineering, they've come up with a typically Apple solution: sell you a special battery case. Yes, you heard that right. Apple is launching the world's thinnest iPhone, but in order to use it all day, you might need to slap a chunky case on the back. And once you do that, it's actually thicker than the standard iPhone 17. Somehow, Apple has managed to design a phone that needs an accessory to make it usable, and people will still line up to buy it. It's a perfect example of Apple's strange balance between design obsession and practical neglect. The compromises don't stop at the battery. The iPhone 17 Air is rumored to ship with only a single rear camera. Not 2. Not 3. Just 1. In an era where even budget phones have multi-lens setups, this feels like a step backward. There's also no physical SIM tray, meaning the Air will rely completely on eSIM across the globe. That might sound futuristic, but in regions where carriers don't fully support eSIM, it's a recipe for frustration. And if you thought Apple would at least nail the basics of audio, think again. The iPhone 17 Air won't have stereo speakers. Instead, it will rely on a single mono speaker near the earpiece. For a device meant to feel premium, that's a strange decision. So what does the iPhone 17 Air really offer? In truth, it's about how it feels in your hand and how it looks in public. It's Apple's version of a fashion accessory. A phone built more for style than substance. To match that approach, Apple is offering the Air in light, airy colors: pale blue, soft gold, plus the classic black, white, and gray. It's a phone that's meant to be seen. Whether it's meant to be used, well, that's a different question. The iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max, finally, real upgrades. Now let's shift gears. Because while the Air may be a questionable experiment, the iPhone 17 Pro and Pro Max are shaping up to be the stars of the lineup. After several years of relatively minor changes, Apple has finally given its Pro models a real set of upgrades. In fact, some would say it's the biggest leap for the Pro line in nearly half a decade. The first big change is under the hood. Both the Pro and Pro Max will ship with the brand new A19 Pro chip. It's faster, more efficient, and built to handle advanced graphics with ease. This means better performance for games, smoother multitasking, and hopefully, less battery drain. Apple loves to talk numbers when it comes to chips, but the real test will be how it feels in everyday use. The second big change is one you'll notice immediately. Apple has redesigned the camera layout. Instead of the familiar triangular cluster, the three lenses now sit together on one side, with the flash and sensors on the other. It's a fresh look, and it ensures that everyone will know at a glance that you're holding an iPhone 17 Pro, not last year's model. But the design isn't just for show. The cameras themselves are getting serious upgrades. All three rear lenses are now 48 megapixels, including the telephoto. That's a huge jump from the past, and it opens the door for sharper images, better low-light performance, and more detailed zoom shots. Speaking of zoom, Apple is rumored to be introducing a movable telephoto lens that can deliver up to 8x optical quality zoom. Now, there's still debate over whether this is true optical zoom or high-quality digital cropping from those 48 megapixel sensors, but either way, it's going to be a noticeable leap forward. The display is also getting attention. Apple may finally add an anti-reflective coating, something Samsung users have enjoyed for years. If true, this will reduce glare in bright sunlight and make the Pro screens easier to read outdoors. For a device that people use constantly, this could be one of those subtle upgrades that makes a huge difference. And then there's the battery. For years, iPhone Pro users have complained about battery life, and Apple seems to be listening. The Pro models are expected to pack batteries as large as 5,000 mAh. Whether that translates to dramatically longer screen time will depend on optimization, but at the very least, it's a promising sign. To keep those batteries and processors from overheating, Apple may also introduce vapor chamber cooling. This is the same kind of technology used in gaming phones to prevent overheating during intense use. Imagine recording long 4K videos, charging quickly, or playing a graphics-heavy game, without the dreaded temperature warning popping up. Speaking of charging, Apple is expected to boost wireless charging speeds from 15 watts to 25 watts, thanks to new G 2.2 support. Even more interesting, the Pro models may finally support reverse wireless charging. That means you could place your AirPods case, or even another iPhone, on the back of your Pro and share your battery. It's the kind of feature Android phones have had for years, and Apple seems ready to embrace it at last. But the most underappreciated change might be in the frame itself. Apple is reportedly ditching titanium and moving to a unibody frame made of stainless steel and glass. The advantage? Stronger durability and better antenna performance. By running antennas around the camera housing, Apple can significantly improve both 5G reception and Wi-Fi signal strength. For anyone tired of dropped calls and weak connections, this could be a game changer. Add in some fresh colors, rumors suggest a dark orange or dark blue as the hero shade, and a slightly smaller dynamic island cutout, and you have a phone that finally feels like a real step forward. The iPhone 17 base, the long-awaited upgrade. Last but not least, we have the regular iPhone 17. If you're looking for something flashy or revolutionary, this isn't it. The design is nearly identical to last year's model. The cameras don't bring anything new. The performance is steady, but nothing special compared to the Pro. But there is one upgrade, and for many people, it's the one they've been begging Apple for, a 120Hz display. After years of limiting higher refresh rates to the Pro models, Apple is finally bringing smooth scrolling and animations to the base version. It's the kind of feature that's hard to describe but immediately noticeable when you use it. Once you've seen a 120Hz screen in action, going back to 60Hz feels almost painful. Of course, Apple will likely market this as if it's some groundbreaking innovation. In reality, it's a feature that should have been on the base iPhone years ago. Still, for customers who stick to the standard model, it's a welcome improvement. Aside from the screen, the only real difference is in the color lineup. Expect some fresh shades to help distinguish the iPhone 17 from the iPhone 16, but don't expect any radical redesigns. Closing thoughts on Section 1. So that's the iPhone 17 lineup in a nutshell. The Air is thin, stylish, and impractical. The Pro and Pro Max are finally worthy upgrades, packed with changes that could make a real difference in daily use. And the base model, while still simple, at least delivers the smoother screen experience people have wanted for years. Pricing hasn't been confirmed yet, but it's safe to assume Apple will keep it close to last year's levels, maybe with a $50 bump depending on the market. As for availability, the launch is expected in mid to late September, with dates hovering around the 16th to the 23rd. Whether you love or hate these changes, one thing is certain: the iPhone 17 series will dominate conversations for months to come. Apple has a way of turning even small tweaks into major headlines, and this year, the mix of daring experiments and meaningful upgrades ensures that everyone will have an opinion.